Your soulmate's family secretly talked about you. What they decided will surprise you. My beloved child. Before this day ends, you need to hear something that has been hidden from you for far too long. A conversation took place behind closed doors, and your name was spoken more times than you could ever imagine. At first, the room felt divided. Some voices carried doubt. Others carried curiosity. But then something happened that nobody expected. One by one, the opinions inside that room began to change. A single unexpected story shifted the entire atmosphere, and suddenly the people who thought they understood you realized they had only seen a tiny piece of who you truly are. They weren't expecting to feel this way, yet the silence that followed became louder than every word spoken before it. Don't skip. This is not where the story reaches its biggest moment. Something even more unbelievable happened after that silence. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. What they discovered next forced everyone in that room to question everything they believed about you, and someone sitting quietly in the corner decided to reveal a truth that had been hidden for a very long time. That truth changed everything. The oldest member of your soulmate's family slowly looked around the room before speaking with complete confidence. The words were calm, but their impact was impossible to ignore. They reminded everyone about the first time your soulmate mentioned you. They described details nobody else had noticed, the excitement in their voice, the unexpected smile that appeared whenever your name came up, and the strange peace they carried after thinking about you. Suddenly, every small memory connected together like pieces of a puzzle. The people who once questioned your place in their family started realizing there was something extraordinary about the bond you shared. One person admitted they had secretly watched how your soulmate changed over time. They confessed that your soulmate became more patient, more hopeful, and more determined after you entered their life. No one could explain it logically, yet nobody could deny what they had witnessed. The atmosphere inside the room shifted again. Faces that were once uncertain became thoughtful. Eyes filled with curiosity. Don't skip, because the next decision they made wasn't ordinary. It was something no one around that table expected to happen. As the conversation continued, one final question echoed through the room. It wasn't about your appearance. It wasn't about your background. It wasn't about what you owned or where you came from. The question was much deeper: what kind of future could this person create alongside our family? For several long moments, nobody answered. Then someone quietly stood up and walked toward the window, looking outside as if searching for clarity. When they finally turned around, they spoke words that left the entire room speechless. They said that every family reaches a rare moment when they must stop judging what they cannot fully understand and start paying attention to what truly changes the heart of someone they love. Those words spread through the room like a wave. Heads slowly nodded. The tension began disappearing. But just when it seemed the discussion had reached its conclusion, another family member pulled out something nobody else knew existed, a private message connected to your soulmate that had never been shown to anyone before. The moment everyone read its first few lines, expressions changed instantly. Some couldn't believe what they were seeing. Others couldn't even speak. The decision they were about to make changed in an instant, and what happened next would surprise even you. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. A quiet breath filled the room as that private message was passed from one hand to another. No one rushed to speak. Every pair of eyes stayed fixed on the words, and with every sentence they read, the atmosphere became heavier than before. The message wasn't filled with grand promises or dramatic declarations. Instead, it revealed something much more powerful. It showed how deeply your soulmate had been thinking about you when nobody else was watching. It spoke about moments they never shared out loud, times when they almost reached out but stopped because they wanted everything to happen at the right moment. As each family member finished reading, their expressions softened. The doubts that once controlled the conversation slowly disappeared. One by one, they began looking at each other with the same silent realization. Don't skip. What happened next was the turning point no one saw coming. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. Then the unexpected happened. The person who had questioned you the most gently placed the message back on the table and admitted they had been completely wrong. The room became so quiet that even the smallest sound felt loud. Another family member nodded in agreement and said they had been judging a story they had never truly understood. Instead of discussing whether you belonged in their lives, the conversation suddenly shifted toward how they could protect the happiness your soulmate had finally found. Someone even admitted that they had never seen your soulmate speak about another person with this much sincerity before. That single confession changed everything. The discussion was no longer about uncertainty, it became about possibility. Every opinion that had once created distance was slowly replaced by respect. Yet just as everyone seemed ready to reach the same conclusion, the oldest voice in the room quietly interrupted them with a warning. They said there was still one final truth nobody had considered, and hearing it might change the entire decision once again. Don't skip. The biggest surprise hasn't arrived yet. The room froze as everyone turned toward that voice. Without raising their tone, they revealed that your soulmate had been carrying one final secret all along. Not because they wanted to hide it forever, but because they were waiting for the perfect moment to reveal it. The family had never known the full picture until now. Suddenly, pieces that never seemed connected began falling perfectly into place. Every late-night conversation, every unexpected smile, every quiet decision your soulmate had made finally started making sense. Nobody argued anymore. Nobody interrupted. They simply listened. Then, after a long silence, one family member slowly stood up and said something that nobody expected to hear. Maybe this isn't someone entering our family, maybe this is someone who was meant to be part of it all along. The room fell completely silent again. But before anyone could respond, a phone resting on the table suddenly lit up with a new message from your soulmate. The screen displayed only a few words, yet those words were enough to make everyone exchange stunned looks. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. The message had arrived at the exact moment they were about to make their final decision, and what it said changed everything. The moment that message appeared on the screen, nobody reached for the phone. It remained in the center of the table as if everyone was afraid that touching it would change what was about to happen. Finally, one family member picked it up and quietly read the words aloud. Your soulmate had written, "Before anyone decides anything about the future, I need you to know the truth about the person I'm thinking of." Every heartbeat in that room seemed to slow down. Nobody interrupted. Nobody looked away. The message continued with memories so genuine that even the people who had remained cautious could no longer hide their emotions. Your soulmate described how your presence had brought unexpected peace during difficult days, how thoughts of you had become a source of quiet strength, and how every plan for the future somehow included you. It wasn't written to impress anyone. It was written from the heart. That honesty reached every corner of the room. Don't skip. The next few moments became something no one in that family would ever forget. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. One by one, the family members began sharing things they had never admitted before. Someone confessed they had noticed your soulmate smiling at random moments without realizing why. Another remembered how your soulmate had defended your name even when nobody else understood the connection. A younger relative quietly admitted they had overheard conversations months earlier and already knew your name long before this meeting happened. Suddenly, every hidden clue from the past connected perfectly. What once looked like coincidence now felt like a pattern that had been forming for a long time. The room was no longer filled with questions, it was filled with understanding. Then came the most unexpected sentence of the evening. One of the quietest people in the family said, "We've spent all this time wondering whether this person is right for our family, but maybe we should have been asking whether our family is ready for someone like them." The words settled into everyone's hearts. No one argued. They simply nodded in silence. Don't skip. The biggest surprise still hadn't been revealed. Just when it seemed the decision had finally become clear, another unexpected discovery changed the atmosphere once again. An old envelope was brought into the room, something your soulmate had left behind long ago without realizing it would ever be seen. Inside was a handwritten note filled with hopes for the future, and hidden among those lines was a single sentence that stopped everyone in their tracks: "If the day ever comes when my family truly understands why this person matters to me, everything will finally fall into place." A deep silence followed. Eyes filled with emotion, and several family members realized they had just witnessed something that couldn't be explained by chance alone. The discussion was over. Their hearts had already begun reaching the same conclusion. But before anyone could speak those final words aloud, someone noticed another detail inside the envelope, a folded piece of paper that nobody had opened before. As they slowly unfolded it, every face around the table changed instantly. Whatever was written there was far bigger than anyone expected, and it would completely reshape what happens next. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. The folded paper was opened with trembling hands, and for several seconds, nobody spoke a single word. Every face around the table reflected the same mixture of surprise and disbelief. It wasn't a list of plans or a simple note. It was a deeply personal promise your soulmate had written long before this family conversation ever happened. In those lines, they admitted they had never wanted anyone to judge you based on first impressions. They wanted their family to discover your value naturally, through honesty and time. As those words echoed through the room, something remarkable happened. Every doubt that had survived until this moment finally disappeared. The conversation was no longer about whether you deserved a place in their future. Instead, it became about how they could support the happiness your soulmate had been quietly protecting all along. Don't skip. What happened next was even more unexpected than the letter itself. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. Then someone asked a question that changed the direction of the entire evening. If everything we've learned tonight is true, what should we do now? Nobody answered immediately. Instead, each family member reflected on the journey that had brought them to this moment. They remembered every misunderstanding, every assumption, and every opinion they had formed before knowing the full story. Finally, the oldest member of the family smiled gently and said, "The greatest mistake any family can make is judging someone's heart before they understand it." Those words settled over the room like complete peace. Heads nodded one after another. The decision was becoming clearer with every passing second. They no longer wanted fear to guide them. They wanted truth to guide them. Yet just as everyone prepared to agree, a knock echoed at the front door. Every conversation stopped instantly. Nobody had been expecting anyone to arrive at that hour. The silence returned, stronger than ever. Don't skip. The person standing outside was about to bring one final surprise that nobody inside the house had imagined. The door slowly opened, and every eye turned toward the entrance. The visitor carried no dramatic announcement, only a calm expression and a small envelope with your soulmate's name written across the front. They explained that it had been delayed and was meant to arrive days earlier. As the envelope was placed on the table, the room became silent once again. Someone carefully opened it and unfolded the page inside. After reading only the first few lines, they looked up with eyes full of emotion. No one needed to ask what was written. The expressions on every face said enough. The family realized this wasn't just another coincidence, it was the final piece they had been missing all along. Without saying another word, they looked at one another and quietly reached the same conclusion. The decision had finally been made. But there was one thing they still didn't know: how your soulmate would react when they discovered what their family had decided behind closed doors. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. The next moment would reveal whether this secret decision would bring tears of relief, or the biggest surprise of all. The decision remained unspoken for only a few more seconds. Then, almost at the same time, every family member gave the same quiet nod. No one argued. No one asked for more time. The discussion that had begun with uncertainty had ended with complete clarity. They finally understood that your soulmate's feelings had never been temporary. They had grown stronger through silence, patience, and countless moments that nobody else had noticed. One family member quietly smiled and said, "Now I understand why they never stopped believing." Those simple words carried more weight than anyone expected. The room, once filled with questions, was now filled with hope. Yet even after reaching their decision, nobody rushed to tell your soulmate. They wanted the next step to be unforgettable. Don't skip. The story has reached the moment everything has been building toward. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. A plan slowly began taking shape. Instead of sending a quick message or making an ordinary phone call, the family wanted your soulmate to discover their decision in a way they would remember forever. They talked about the right place, the right time, and the right words. Every detail mattered because they knew this moment could become one of the most meaningful memories of your soulmate's life. Then someone quietly admitted something that surprised everyone else. They confessed that, at the beginning of the conversation, they had been the strongest voice against you. But after hearing every story, reading every letter, and seeing every hidden piece of the truth, they had become the strongest person standing in your corner. That unexpected confession touched everyone in the room. It proved that genuine understanding could change even the firmest opinions. The atmosphere felt lighter than ever before. It seemed as though the family wasn't just accepting a possibility, they were welcoming a future they had finally learned to believe in. Don't skip. One last revelation was still waiting. As the evening came to an end, the oldest member of the family carefully folded every letter, every note, and every memory back into the envelope. Before sealing it, they quietly placed one more sheet of paper inside. It contained only a single sentence, but it was enough to leave everyone speechless. When the right moment arrives, we will stand beside the choice that brings true happiness. No signatures were needed. Every heart in that room had already agreed. Outside, the night had grown quiet, but inside that house, everything had changed forever. The family that once questioned your place was now preparing to welcome the future with open hearts. They had made their choice in secret, believing the time wasn't quite right to reveal it. What they didn't know was that your soulmate was about to learn the truth much sooner than anyone expected. And when that moment finally arrives, it won't just surprise your soulmate. It may change everything that comes next. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. The next chapter begins the moment this secret is no longer a secret.